Hi and welcome. My name is Christian and this is Quarantine Games. Instead of me doing a hero analysis in the beginning of each of my Marvel Champions videos, I thought we should do a hero review instead of each hero. Let's get to it. This is Spider-Man on steroids, aka Black Widow. What I mean by that is Spider-Man can control the villain to a certain extent by denying the attack and also denying treachery cards. Black Widow takes that to 11 by controlling every aspect of the villain phase. This also means that when you're playing Black Widow, you're gonna feel underwhelmed at first because you don't really do anything in your turn compared to other heroes. For example, Tony Stark's gonna cap around 20 damage every round, and Cap's just gonna be amazing from the get-go. But in the villain's turn, you're gonna feel amazingly powerful, denying him every bit of his activation. Because Black Widow is all about preparing for the villain to act. So you can counter his every move and also deal a lot of damage in the process. All this in my mind make Black Widow the best, possibly the best solo hero out there. Because she can just straight up cancel all the encounter cards that you don't want to see in a solo game, mainly advance. It's not just that she can just deny the villain anything. She also has scratch that. I think she has the best ally for all the heroes, Winter Soilder. This is also a character that should feel powerful, and with the design space they really made him powerful. But enough chit chat, let's get to the cards. First off, let's look at Natasha herself. She has recovery of 3, which is not a lot. She has 9 hit points, which is pretty low, and she has a hand size of 6. She has a mission prep response, which says that after you play a preparation card, you can draw 1 card. If you're playing a preparation card that only costs 1, it means that it technically is free. It only costs the card itself. And also this is a pretty good ability because card draw is king and we love card draw. When we look at Black Widow, she has good stats. Not amazing, but really good. Just as good as Cap. She has thwart, attack and defense value of 2, and she has a hand size of 5, which is pretty standard. She also has a response, Widowmaker. After you trigger the ability of a preparation card, you can deal 1 damage to an enemy. Over the course of a game, this is going to deal a lot of damage. Just for example, I had a game where I dealt 5 damage just off triggering preparation cards. This also means that when you have preparation cards, especially when you're only in hero mode, you have to think of the preparation card as doing what it says, plus it deals 1 damage, which makes them a lot better. Now let's look at some of the engine cards in the deck. First off, we have her signature support card, Safe House 29. It's an alter ego action where you exhaust the safe house and choose a preparation card in your discard pile and add that card to your hand. This is pseudo card draw. Instead of drawing a card from your deck, you choose a card in your discard pile and add it to your hand. Which I think is better because you get the card that you want, and also you don't risk the chance of decking out too soon. Even though it's not that big of a problem decking out, but it plays to her ability with controlling the villain. Let's just make an example of this. You're playing a preparation card and you're paying with another preparation card. And because you're in alter ego, you draw a card because of Natasha Romanoff's ability, and then you use the safe house to get that preparation card back in your hand. Which means that you basically got the preparation card you played first for free. And it also granted you a card. Her next engine card is her Black Widow's Gauntlet. It costs 1. It's just a resource card where you exhaust the gauntlet to generate a wild resource for a preparation card. I think they planned ahead with this card because no other preparation card demands one specific type of resource, but then they still let this be a wild resource, so in case that they design some further down the line, this is gonna take care of it. This is pretty standard. Thor has it, Spider-Man has it, Captain America has it, but this only costs 1. It doesn't get removed like Spider-Man's. It's not a hero resource or also ego resource like Thor's. It's just like Captain America's. You can just only use it for preparation cards. Now let's look at her own preparation card. The first one is Acrobatics, which is pretty hard to pronounce. It costs 1. It's a hero interrupt. When a boost card is turned face up, you discard Acrobatics, you cancel the boost icon on the card, and you deal 1 damage to the villain for each boost icon cancelled this way. It's worth noting that this is an attack, which means that if you're engaged with a minion that has the guard keyword, this does nothing. Except for cancelling the boost icons, of course. I think even when you don't get the full ability of the card, it's still worth triggering, especially getting rid of those 3 boost icons. The next card is the "Nah, not today" card, Grappling Hook. It costs 2. It has a hero interrupt. When you reveal a treachery, discard Grappling Hook and cancel the effects of the treachery card and discard it. Do you hate seeing that advance get flipped face up, or the Shadows of the Past card? This is the card for you. It's like, oh no, he drew advance and now he's gonna win. Oh, I have Grappling Hook. Doesn't matter, don't care. On to the next one. This is just an amazing card. And also remember that you do 1 damage as well. And last but not least, she has Widow's Bite. It costs 1. It also has a hero response. This is also an attack. After a minion enters play, you discard the Widow's Bite and deal 2 damage to the minion and stun it, plus the 1 damage from Black Widow's ability. This is just a great card to denying Tombstone, Scorpion, Whirlwind and some of the other minions a turn, and also dealing a little bit of damage. It just means that you don't have to think about them right now, that you can wait a turn. This card is not as usable as the 2 others, but it still has its use and is still extremely powerful. But normally I just call Widow's Bite the Winter Soilder discount card. Now let's look at her signature ally, Winter Soilder, which I think is the best signature ally in the game. He costs 4, but not really. We get into that in a few seconds. He has an attack and thwart value of 2. He takes 1 consequential damage when he does these 2 things, and he has 4 health. His ability says that you can reduce the cost to play Winter Soilder by 1 for each preparation card you control, which means that you can get this guy for free, which then means that he doesn't really cost 4 in a Black Widow deck, because you're gonna play preparation cards and you're always gonna gain 1 or 2 discounts for this guy, which makes him the greatest signature ally in the game. Can you imagine getting 8 thwart for 1 resource? That's amazing. She has 1 more upgrade left. It kinda feeds into the engine of the deck, but not really. It's her synth suit. It costs 3, and Black Widow gets +1 defense, which means then she has 3. It has a hero response that after you trigger the ability of a preparation card you control, you can exhaust the synth suit to ready Black Widow, which means that you get a pseudo Captain America ability. where you can defend and still attack or thwart or maybe defend again. Let's give an example of how great this card is. The villain attacks you and he has a base value of 3. You have the Sin suit and the attack acrobatics on you. The villain attacks you, you defend, he turns over, let's say, 2 boost icons. You discard attack acrobatics, cancel those boost icons, deal 3 damage to the enemy because of Black Widow's ability, and then you exhaust the Sin suit to ready Black Widow. Seems pretty great, right? Well, Black Widow is not all about preparation. She also has some events. Let's go over the attack event first. Dance of Death. It costs 3. It's a hero action when you make 3 attacks in a row. You first deal 1 damage to an enemy, then deal 2 damage to an enemy, and then deal 3 damage to an enemy. I will wish that Miss Marvel would have that card, especially with Embigging, which means that instead of getting 6 damage for 3 resources, you will get 12 damage for 3 resources, which makes this great. But this card is great anyway, because you can get rid of that toughness status card and then still kill the minion, or just deal 6 damage to the villain. You decide. Let's look at the arguably best event card in the entire game, Covert Ops. It costs 3, it just has an action, which means you can do it in hero or alter ego mode, doesn't matter. You just remove 4 threat from a scheme and then you confuse the villain. This is just an amazing card off the bat. Every card that confuses the enemy, the villain, is worth looking at. And when it also removes 4 threat from a scheme, it makes this card amazing. There's a pretty similar card in Concussive Blow. It also costs 3 to confuse the villain. It just confuses an enemy. And if you pay with a physical resource, you can also deal 3 damage. And compared to the resource curve of damage, it's 3 short to be on par, which means that the confused status card costs around 2 resources, because you have to pay a specific resource to get the 3 damage. That's why I counted like that. This card removes 4 threat for 3 resources, which is only 0.5 beneath the threat curve, and it also confuses the enemy. So that was all the Black Widow cards. And as we can see on the Black Widow cards, it doesn't really require a specific type of resource. She just requires preparation cards. And her cards are not that expensive. There's only Winter Soilder and her 2 event cards that really cost something, and of course a suit. Because of her cheap upgrade suit and that she only needs her preparation cards and she has amazing stats, that makes her a pretty versatile hero. I think you can play this hero with every aspect and still be incredibly good. I think that is rare, because some of the heroes are just designed for justice, protection, leadership, or aggression. Black Widow can do everything, really. Also in solo, because her standard deck of 15 cards are that good. But when I think about it, I think Black Widow is more geared towards solo play instead of multiplayer. Even though she's still pretty good in multiplayer, but there's just so many more encounter cards that she cannot keep up. In solo, when you only draw 1, maybe 2, she can just deny that card and then deal a lot of damage in her turn. Her only real problem is that she never really gets a lot of cards on the table and keep them there, for example like Iron Man. Her cards is constantly going from your hand to your play area, to your discard pile, to your deck, to your hand, to your play area, to a discard pile to a deck. This also means that she's a little bit unpredictable, especially in the later stages of the game, compared to other heroes. So as always, I created a deck for you to test out. This is Black Widow Leadership. It's all about keeping those allies alive, defend with yourself, triggering your acrobatics, your Widow's Bite and grappling hooks, and then just break face with your allies. You have Make the Call and Rapid Response. Rapid Response is the new preparation card for leadership, which just brings an ally back from the dead, which is great when they have a when played ability like Squirrel Girl or Maria Hill, or if they are extremely expensive like Vision, Nick Fury. The Rapid Response Nick Fury play is probably one of the most strongest combos in the game, because then you can defend with Nick Fury against the villain's attacks. Nick Fury is defeated, you get Nick Fury back, you can use his when played ability to draw 3 more cards, then defend for an attack again. It's just incredibly stupid, and I think it's on the verge of being broken. But again, you're paying 6 resources to draw 6 cards and getting 2 attack or 2 thwart and 2 blocks. I think it's well worth it. Other people think otherwise, but they just want to be right and are silly. I wanted to include Avengers Assemble in this deck as well, but I think the deck gets too thick compared to that you don't get a lot of cards out of your deck with Black Widow. So I was really more focusing on getting the allies back and keeping them alive. Well, not technically keeping them alive, just bringing them back. So give this deck a spin, and if it doesn't work, please tell me how stupid my ideas are. So that was Black Widow, and I'm Christian from Quarantine Games. See you next time around.